So people, you lot have basically bullied me into making this video. My Sony A7 custom picture profile, my CINE4 profile that I've customised to have really nice colours, straight out of camera, really easy to work with, easy to grade, and I'm going to tell you that today. And to get your hands on that profile, all you've got to do is pay me $100 billion. No, I'm only messing about, people. I'm going to tell you the profile in a second. Just hang tight and we'll go over it, mate. Bosh. What's going on, you lot? I hope you're all sweet. So, don't you hate it when people make videos and in the title they tell you they're going to tell you something and they wait till right at the end of the video to actually tell you what it says in the title? I can't stand that, mate. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you what my picture profile is right now, and then we can talk a bit later. So my Sony A7S Mark II picture profile that I've been using for like the last year is PP5. Now, don't get me wrong, you don't have to use PP5. All of them PPs are literally just preset containers for you to set your picture profile in. My black level is at 0 and my gamma is CINE4. Now, my black gamma is wide and then +6. I don't bother touching the knee. Now, the color mode is sgamut3.cine. I then bang my saturation all the way up at +4. My color phase is at +6. I don't touch my color depth, and then detail I leave at about 0 depending on what my project is delivered for. That is basically just sharpening. How sharp do you want your image straight out of camera? Most of the time, if you leave it at about -5, -7, all the way down at the bottom, you can just add the sharpness back in post. So that is my picture profile, mate. And before we go on any further, I do want to say that this is no scientifically proven picture profile that works better than any others. I literally just made up this profile simply trying to match my colours with another camera. There's another camera that I'm really fond of the colours in that camera straight out of camera, and all I wanted to do was try and match the colours on my A7 to this other camera. Now, I've done that and I played around with some of the different elements in that picture profile, chucked it in my grade, and I was like, you know what? I actually really like this, and I've been using it ever since. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still on my A7S Mark II. I haven't got hybrid log gamma in my camera, unfortunately, but if you are on any of the A7 Mark III series of cameras or the new RX100, you can use hybrid log gamma, and in my opinion, the hybrid log gamma 3 is a lot better than the CINE4 picture profile. Now, I've got my own theory yet on color bit depth, and if anyone in the comments can actually like legitimize my theory, I'd really appreciate it. And if I'm just chatting shit, then yeah, just let me know. So my theory is, yeah, 8-bit color, we all know is a bit crap. Now, 8-bit color has 256 different shades of red, green, and blue. Now, that's not a ton of different shades. So if we look at an 8-bit file, we all know that we can only pull and push our 8-bit color so far in the grade before it will snap and the image will essentially just break up. Now, 10-bit color has 1024 different shades of each color, and we know when we pull that 10-bit color, we can pull it a lot further than 8-bit before it will begin to snap and the image breaks up. Then we're going all the way up to 12-bit color, mate, where we've got 4096 different shades of red, green, and blue. 12-bit, we can pull all the way out here before it snaps. So as we all know, we've got S-Log in our A7 cameras in the 8-bit color. Now, S-Log is so flat that you have to pull that 8-bit color so far to get it to look half bloody decent. Now, my theory is that I want to get my 8-bit color as close as I possibly can to my final image straight out of camera, and then all I have to do is a few little tweaks here and there to get my color to where I want it to be. Now, if we had raw 12, 14, 16-bit color, you can shoot a really flat image and you can pull it all of this way without the image breaking up. So my plan is with 8-bit, oh mate, I just snapped my elastic band. We must have pulled 8-bit too far, mate. So my plan is that I'm gonna shoot 8-bit really close to my final image straight out of camera with a good amount of dynamic range in the CINE4 picture profile so that I only have to tweak the colors and the exposure a tiny little bit. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if that theory is actually legit or not, but when it comes to 8-bit color, I don't wanna shoot super flat because I don't like pushing and turning and changing all the colors to actually get it to look half decent if the image is super flat. I wanna shoot pretty nice straight out of camera on 8-bit, and then all we have to do is a couple of little tweaks, mate, and we are good to go. Gosh. And yeah, another good thing about the CINE4 picture profile over like a different picture profile is the fact that you can go all the way down to ISO 200. So if you're shooting in like high key lighting conditions, you're really in an exposed environment, you can bring your ISO all the way down to 200 instead of keeping it at like 800, 1600 at like the S-Log minimum amount of ISOs are at. So yeah, that's why I really like CINE4. Now, in my opinion, I've found that if I overexpose this picture profile by about 0.5 to 0.7 of a stop, that is when I'm gonna get the most amount of flexibility in post with the CINE4 picture profile. If I've got a few little clipped highlights, then I can actually pull back them clipped highlights and then the image has a lot more detail in them shadow areas. So for me, that is kind of the range, the exposure range that I like to hit with this picture profile. Now, when I was making this picture profile, one of the most important things for me was actually skin tone, and I found that the skin tones actually come out very, very nice, very naturally in this picture profile. Obviously, there's other cameras, other color sciences that work a little bit better for skin tones than the Sony colors, even though I don't think the Sony colors are that bad. I think they're actually okay. Now, I feel like this picture profile works well in most different lighting conditions. In really harsh conditions, like in sunlight, I feel like I can retain a fair amount of detail in them highlights and them shadows. And in really flat environments, I feel like it still performs pretty damn well because the contrast is still quite high. Straight out of camera, I think for me personally that the image actually don't look too bad. Then all I have to do is make very, very minor adjustments to my exposure and then chuck on a little grade. Now, compared to when you're shooting like super flat, that process is a lot harder. And when you're shooting 8-bit color, you have really got to bend and push that color a little bit too far, in my opinion, to actually get a decent image out of it. So the people, at the end of the day, this picture profile is just my personal favorite picture profile. It doesn't mean that everyone's gonna look at it and go, yeah, mate, that's sick. Some of them might look at it and go, no, mate, that's shit. So realistically, you need to find what picture profile works for you, what one you like the colors of, what one you feel like you can grade nice and easily in your edit, and it all depends on the actual production that you're doing. I will change around my picture profiles if there's a specific look that I'm trying to go for, but most of the time I find that this picture profile works really, really well. It's as close as I can possibly get to an all-round look that I like to use for all of my different productions. So now, I'm not gonna lie, people, something that is really gonna make a big difference to the quality of your image is just exposing your shot correctly and your white balance. At the end of the day, if you're shooting 8-bit color, you have not got a lot of wiggle room, mate. I ain't an expert at picture profiles. I just found a picture profile that I particularly like, and if you lot like it too, there you go, mate. It's here. Look, let me give it you, yeah? Here's the picture profile. Take it. If you are more interested in like a scientific look into the Sony picture profiles and how the gamma curves actually work, then I'm going to leave a link in the description to Gerald Undone's video on picture profiles. He done an amazing in-depth scientific look, really nerdy stuff on the picture profiles. So if you're interested in that, he's done a great video. I'll leave it there. But if not, carry on watching some geezer talk about why he likes colours. So people, I hope you enjoyed this video and it give you like a good amount of like, you know, advice on picture profiles, even though I am like probably the worst. Should I even do this? I don't know. Should I like flick you lot in the eye? What eye shall I go for? The left eye or the right eye? Am I even doing that the right way? What's that? That would be your right eye. Oh, make sure to let me know in the comments what you lot think of this picture profile. Does it look good? Do you think it looks horrendous? And I will be catching you lot in the next one, mate. Bosh! I made this picture profile because to me, I like the colours out of it and I feel like I can grade that image pretty well. That don't mean that you're going to look at it and you're going to go, yes, mate, that looks sick. You might look at it and go, no, mate, that looks shit. shit. Anyway, people, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you didn't, then like, I'm sorry, because like, I don't know, I'm just sorry. If you didn't like it, you can, you know, it's not really good if you don't like a video, is it really?